Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Malavika Jaykumar and welcome to episode 2 of Culture Bites, where we'll be talking about the term cultural capital. In my previous video, which was episode 1 of Culture Bites, I talked about the patriarchal bargain. And before we begin today's video, I would like to thank everybody who showed some love and support for that work. Thank you so much. Let's dive deep into cultural capital. It is a term that is closely related, that is, with the idea of power. So let's get started. Let's begin by asking ourselves one simple question. How do people gain power? And the most obvious guess would be money and wealth. And you're right, money does have that effect. But let's refer to this money and wealth that give people power and status by another name, economic capital. But hold on, before we continue any further, let's zoom into the word capital. What is capital? Be warned that the word capital means different things in different contexts. But in the context of what we are discussing today, just understand that capital is anything valuable that people can use to get ahead in life. So we called money economic capital because it is valuable and because it helps people get ahead in life. Which brings us to the next question. What if there were other forms of capital? Things that weren't as evident as money. A kind of capital that might not be money, but is still somehow connected to it. Allow me to use a metaphor. Imagine a country like India with over 1 billion people. Now, picture that every single person in this country is handed a toolbox. But here's the catch. This toolbox doesn't have money in it. Nope, instead it holds other things. Things like that person's knowledge, skills, taste in art, style, degrees, even the way that person speaks. These are the tools people carry with them. And while everyone gets a toolbox, the contents are not always the same. Some toolboxes are full of shiny, expensive tools, others not so much. But here's where it gets interesting. Society often judges people based on what's in their toolbox. The more valued your tools are, the more likely you are to be respected, accepted, and sometimes even hired. This set of tools is what we call cultural capital. It might not be money per se, but it can open doors just like money does. Allow me to use an example to show you how cultural capital plays out in real life. Let's zoom in to one of the southern states in India, Kerala. Imagine 2 men and they're both applying for the same job. A recruiter attempts to pick the right candidate for the job. Both of them have the same degree but from different colleges. Both of them have similar work experience that displays their potential. But there's a difference. One of them walks in confidently, speaks fluent English with a thick, sophisticated accent, and is dressed in Western formals. When asked about his hobbies, he casually mentions reading books by international authors and even makes small talk about sushi and weekend trips to Goa. His resume also boasts of his degree from a well-known elite private college and a summer program in a foreign university. The other person, also smart and exceptionally hardworking. But he speaks with a strong regional accent, is a little unsure about corporate etiquette, is comfortable dressing in native clothes which fit the weather in his village. When asked about hobbies or interests, he talks about watching Malayalam comedy films, attending local festivals, or helping at the family store. Now here's the thing. On paper, they're equal. But in the interview room, one of them just feels more polished to the recruiter, more corporate, more fitting for the job. Why? Because the first person is carrying a toolbox filled with cultural capital. Things like the supposedly right accent, exposure, social confidence, and certain tastes that are valued in elite professional spaces. The second person may be equally capable, but their tools just don't seem to match what the space is looking for. And that's how cultural capital quietly tips the scale in someone's favor, even when everything else seems equal. Now imagine these men in a forum that is a bit more personal, the matrimonial website. Let's assume they both have the same job and salary, but still, there's a difference in how people see them. The first man, with his polished English that he used to describe himself in his matrimonial profile, his foreign exposure, and cosmopolitan lifestyle, gets more clicks, more interest, more likes. His profile feels modern and attractive to families looking for a certain kind of groom. The second man, grounded, humble, and deeply rooted in his local culture, may be just as kind, responsible, and stable, but somehow his profile does not get the same attention. It's seen as too simple, too traditional, or not global enough. Once again, it is not about money. It's not even about values. It is what is seen as culturally desirable. And that is cultural capital at work. It shapes how people are perceived in job interviews, in classrooms, in relationships, and even on dating apps. So let's revisit the question we began with. How do people gain power? Well, it depends on what's in their toolbox. And that's it. As simple as that. You now know what cultural capital means. If there is any particular term or concept that you would like me to unpack like I did today, please let me know down in the comments below. And stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching.